In 2023, many high-salary and skilled workers who have a lot of money, but live in relatively unsafe places like San Francisco or New York City. The prospect of moving abroad or relocating to other countries for retirement is increasingly appealing. For those people, safety and security are always the #1 factor they consider. So to find out the best countries to relocate, we took a look at the Global Peace Index to help guide your journey. The Institute for Economics and Peace publishes the Global Peace Index, which attempts to rank all the countries in the world by their quality of life. 163 countries are evaluated on 23 metrics ranking from their level of perceived criminality in society, political stability, level of violent crime, likelihood of violent demonstrations, and their environmental safety. This takes things people care about and puts those metrics into a formula to give you a score of the best countries to relocate to. That way we have objective metrics rather than just unfounded feelings or following rumors about how some countries are different than others. Also, for your convenience, we've included information on residency visas you can get for these countries. But first, if you just want a quick glance at the best places to relocate to, take a look at this map and pay attention to the green countries, and try to avoid the red countries. According to surveys, Finland is ranked one of the happiest countries in the world. On the GPI, it's in 14th place, but it has been improving in safety, coming up from the 17th position in 2017. Crime rates are very low in the country. People there are mostly left alone, and it's very rare to be caught up in sudden street violence like in other countries. Another upside for people who want to relocate here is that major natural disasters like earthquakes or hurricanes almost never happen in Finland. The only major downsides are the harsh climate and difficulty learning the Finnish language. Nevertheless, Finland itself is very safe, and it's rare to experience violent crime. Even more minor criminal offenses such as cases of assault and theft are rare. Unfortunately, if you are not an EU citizen, residency in Finland is difficult to obtain. At the moment, you can only get a residency permit by either ancestry, EU membership, or starting a business that's approved by the Finland Business Association. You can't just own a company either, you have to work in it. Still though, if you can get into Finland, you've definitely made it into the promised land, making it worth the effort. Canada. In the past, Canada used to be rank 5 on the Global Peace Index, but the country has been getting worse in recent years. Plummeting from rank 6th in 2018 to rank 12th now in 2022. Its position is still top in the world, but this declining trend should be carefully watched. This seems bad, but is still far better than the USA, which ranks 129th, which is comparable to Brazil. Canada is typically known for being an incredibly safe country, and that still remains true today. The Human Development Index, GDP per capita, and crime rates are all quite commendable and better than nearly all countries in the world. People seeking a new beginning often look at this country as one of their top destinations. It is known to be an ideal place for raising a family, though that is definitely starting to change. If you're considering an escape from places like New York, San Francisco, or LA, then this could be the perfect option for you. Canada might be a good place to try first when relocating, as if you already speak English, you won't have any significant culture shock or language barrier difficulties while living there. As for getting into Canada, in January 2015, the Government of Canada opened a new system for managing economic applications for permanent residents called Express Entry. Canada's Express Entry system is an online system managing Canadian permanent residence applications from foreign skilled workers. The skilled workers are chosen by their skills and if they can make a positive contribution to the Canadian economy. Unlike Finland, there are multiple ways to get into Canada and make a life for yourself there, as long as you have the money or the skills to offer Canada in return. Switzerland is a super progressive country with highly educated, active people. The people in Switzerland receive top ratings for many traits like valuing human rights and the environment. Switzerland ranks 11th on the Global Peace Index in 2022, down from 5th in 2015. But still remains a very desirable place to be if you want calm and security. Crime isn't much of an issue in this country, so it's safe to go out even late at night. The long-standing neutrality also helps keep the peace and makes it a great place to live. Plus, there's loads of amazing natural sights here with clean air. On top of that, Switzerland has a great standard of living and a steady economy. Plus, the jobless rate there is low, making it an awesome option for people looking to move abroad and take up a new job. The only thing to keep in mind is that Switzerland is not a part of the EU and doesn't use the euro for its currency. So you'll have to keep up with your Swiss francs. There are a variety of different visas and residence permits for Switzerland. Permanent residency is called the C permit. Holders of this permit may stay in Switzerland for an unlimited period of time. The main requirement for permanent residence in Switzerland is that you must already be living in Switzerland on another visa. This usually is on a B or L residency visa. For the more common B visa, it usually lasts between 1 to 5 years. For permanent residency, the standard residency requirement is 10 years. However, EU citizens of the United States, and Canada can apply after 5 years. Japan has been one of the most peaceful countries for almost a decade and a half. It has low crime rates, no internal strife and very little political disturbance, which earns it high marks in global peace indices year after year. Tokyo, the capital of Japan, is known as the world's safest city in numerous rankings from different sources. Everything runs efficiently in Japan. Cybersecurity, health access to public transit and trains, are all best in the world. It's nice to have a carless lifestyle in Japan. Japan has invested a lot in making sure its cities are secure, and this has paid off with non-existent levels of crime. In Japan, respect for others and a dedication to peace are highly valued. This helps maintain law and order in the country and contributes to its low crime rate. Plus, Japanese cities are clean and the cost of living is not significantly worse compared to places like Taiwan. It's possible to get older apartments for a cheap price even in an outer Tokyo suburb. Since Japan does not issue retirement visas, you can find other visa options that can help you retire permanently in Japan. Citizens of certain countries can enter Japan without a visa for a 90-day short stay, but to stay in Japan longer for retirement you need to apply for a long-stay visa before traveling to the country. After having a long-stay visa for a certain period of time, you can apply for permanent residence if you wish to reside permanently in Japan. There's also the Japan Highly Skilled Professional Visa, which, as the name suggests, is issued to highly skilled professionals who want to work in Japan. It is issued through a point-based system and offers a longer period of stay and more benefits than a regular work visa. Finally, there's also the Japan Working Holiday Visa, which is issued to citizens of some countries that have a special relationship with Japan. It allows young people from those countries to visit Japan and live and work there for up to a year. According to the Global Peace Index, Singapore is the 9th safest country in the world and the most safe country in Asia. It's long been a desirable destination for people from all over the world. This reputation as a safe, friendly, and efficient country has led expats of many kinds, including families and retirees, to settle down to enjoy its access to luxuries and high standard of living. If you work in finance and trade, there may also be just as many opportunities for work here. Additionally, it boasts a competitive and highly skilled workforce with a remarkable literacy rate of over 95%, and an increasing proportion of the population that's highly educated professionals. What's more, Singapore is a clean and orderly country. The city is well organized, and there's a general sense of life works here without chaos or confusion. Unfortunately, the options to receive permanent residence in Singapore are limited unless you are willing to invest or work for the required years. You can get permanent residency in Singapore by these methods. The Employment Pass. The Employment Pass is available to foreign managers, executives, and professionals. To be eligible for this type of visa, you must make at least 3,600 Singapore dollars per month, which is about $2,741 US. The Entree Pass Investor Program is a business visa available to foreign investors, innovators, or entrepreneurs who wish to start a business in Singapore. And finally, there's also the S-Pass for mid-level skilled workers. So it's not impossible to get into Singapore, you'll just have to bring something to the table. The Czech Republic is a beautiful country with a rich history and culture. Its Global Peace Index has been improving each year. About 2 years ago, the country wasn't even in the top 10, but now it ranks 8th thanks to falling rankings in other European countries. Crime rates have steadily decreased over the years. Although petty crimes, some gangs, and scams, especially in the tourist areas, are a problem, a significant amount of attention has been directed to these issues and the Czech government is working to counter them. The Czech Republic does not have a retirement visa. As an EU citizen, you can live in the Czech Republic for longer than 90 days. However, if you are from the US or a third country national, you will have to apply for a long-term visa while in the country. Anyone with Czech citizenship either by birth or by descent is eligible for a visa. Portugal. Portugal is the oldest country in the Iberian Peninsula. Its historical sites, stunning cities, and golden beaches combine luxury with natural beauty to deliver some of the most beautiful tourist sites and city life in the world. Friendly locals and a gentle climate make it an ideal destination for families and retirees, as well as those seeking a safe and relaxing place to live and work. According to this year's Global Peace Index, it's the 6th safest country in the world. This is a far cry from the rank 15 it had 8 years ago, and the government's efforts to clean up Portugal have been dramatically paying off while other more developed European countries on the GPI have been slipping and struggling with their own domestic issues. Portugal has a long history of peaceful relations with its neighbors, so war is not a concern here. This creates a stable environment that encourages business and promotes economic growth. Portugal has a robust retirement visa program with many different paths to obtain residency. There are options to buy real estate for €280,000, or by proving you have at least €705 a month in passive income, which means income from something like a pension, rental income, or remote work salary. To show that you have the minimum income, retirees need to open a Portuguese bank account and deposit 12 months of their income inside. This money is returned back to you after you receive your residence visa. At rank 6 on the GPI is Austria. Historical villages, modern cities, bustling waterways, and traditions of classical music, theater, and food all attract expats to Austria. One of the main factors for its high peace index ranking is its low crime rate. The Austrian economy is strong, developed, and the unemployment rate is low. There's less crime overall because people are less likely to turn to criminal activity when they have a stable income. Lastly, Austria has a strong government and political system. This ensures that the country is well run and that there's little corruption or expectation that you'll be abused by government officials. Furthermore, the country faces no external threats from any of its neighbors. Austria does not have a specific retirement visa, but there are other available options. Retired citizens from abroad wishing to retire in Austria can obtain a residence title called the settlement permit. The settlement permit is a type of residence permit that is issued to financially independent individuals. If this is the path you choose, must have a fixed and regular income to support yourself without having to take welfare. You must also have health insurance coverage that provides benefits in Austria and covers all risks. This means for single people wishing to live in Austria, you must have at least $2,070 a month in income, or $3,260 a month if you are married. Unfortunately, the settlement permit does not allow you to work in Austria. Iceland. Iceland is the #1 safest and best country to live in according to the Global Peace Index. This has been true for 15 straight years, making this record unassailable and undeniable. Though tourists cannot seem to get enough of the northern lights and natural beauty, the small island nation has a lot of other reasons to try to get in. It has a very low level of crime, typically attributed to its high standard of living, small population, strong social attitudes, a high level of trust in their well-trained authorities, and a lack of tension between social and economic classes. It has no military, and the police do not carry firearms. Iceland also has laws in place to guarantee all human rights of its citizens. Citizens of the US don't need to obtain visas before entering Iceland. However, if you're planning on staying in Iceland for longer than 90 days, you'll need to apply for an Icelandic residence permit. First, you must prove you can financially support yourself in Iceland without relying on welfare. For a retired couple, this means proving you can spend at least $2,376 a month to support yourself. You'll also need to provide health insurance that will be valid in Iceland. Some American health insurances will work here, and prove that you have a place of residence in Iceland. Finally, you'll need to prove that you don't have a criminal record or any open case that could result in more than 3 months in jail. Considering the generous visas available, the top-ranking clean environment and safe trusting society, it's often the first destination people consider when trying to relocate.